Hello, welcome to the stream, everybody. It is, of course, release day for Horseshoe Curve, so we're going to dive in. We're going to have a look at what there is to see. This one's been around for a while, hasn't it? And it's finally been released, much anticipated, and I'm quite looking forward to getting into it. I've done the tutorials. I've done 3 out of the 4 tutorials, but that's all I've done because I wanted to record those to put on the channel later. But I've not actually had a run on this yet, so I'm quite looking forward to that. What I will say is thank you to Dovetail for supplying the key for me to be able to show this off as part of the Ambassador program. Farah, how you doing? Oh, you've got the bell. Excellent, excellent. I'm really pleased about that. Yes, Horseshoe Curve. So I'm just going to dive in. And I think what we'll do first is we'll just have a look at what there is in Horseshoe. So first of all, let's look at journey mode. You can see the 3 tutorials I've already done. However, we've got 3 chapters. If journey mode is your thing, learning curve. So we start off with the tutorials. There's a couple of services on the end of a grain and a coal service. And then chapter 2, Pittsburgh Stallions. So again, 2 services and one of the scenarios, it looks like the complication at Crescent. Then chapter 3, we've got, they're very short, aren't they? They're very short journey chapters. That's a strange one. Look at that one. I've completed that one and got a gold medal, but there's nothing showing. Not sure about that one. Good evening, Dave. How are you? Thanks for joining. So that is the journey mode. Let's have a look what is in the services. So there's 4 items of training. The introduction, which actually I put on the channel just before this, that's on the, I've done the GP38-2. I've also done the ES44AC, so I've recorded those. They'll be on the channel later. And then I believe as a result of the Sherman Hill braking situation, this one's actually got a tutorial for releasing the brakes, because on Sherman Hill it was taking upwards of 15 minutes to release the brakes, and I know it caught a few people out. So there is a tutorial which addresses it within this Horseshoe Curve, which hopefully will show anybody that doesn't watch the streams or watch any of the ambassadors just how to do it. So that's good. That's well thought out. Timetable. We've got the 2 locos, ES44AC. And there are 68 services for that one. The GP38-2, which we've had before, it has 9 services, so not as many for that one. Scenarios, I believe there's 5 scenarios. Push the side, 75 minutes. Honk for the camera, 40 minutes. Does wet coal burn? That's an hour. Complication at Crescent, 50 minutes. And evening tidy up, which I think they said on the DTG stream is a bit vicious. Look at all the red there. In fact, because those indicate the level of difficulty, I don't even think I've seen one that's all red like that, you know, in any of these DLCs. You'll be pleased to know I'm not trying that one tonight. I'm going to get some practice first before I do that, because I will probably screw that up royal. But what I thought I would do is go into the timetable. We'll run one for this ES44AC, because we've not looked at that one before. And I think what I will do is I will do the 1054 service, which is going Johnstown to Altoona, so it's a full run. There is this branch line at the bottom, which provides some shorter services, but we'll take a run of the full main line, I think, with this one. So this is an hour and 17. So You can see they're all various lengths there. The longest being 1 hour 17. Don't think there's any longer than that. There are some coal loading services in there. Dave says, not many bugs reported yet. Doesn't seem to have any. Well, let's see. As I say, I haven't played it yet, so I'm sure I'm going to find something. There's been some things called out, with the tutorials. The tutorials seem to end quite abruptly, but they do end properly though. So I guess that's not really a bug. That's just the way that they've been built. But let's see. We'll dive in and we'll have a look and we'll see if there's anything untoward. Jason's in. How you doing, Jason? Farah says, I dare you. There's no way I'm running that one. I might run that one. I've had a practice, but I'm openly going to cheat at that one because there's no way I'm going to run that and show myself up live. I do enough of that already. Dave says it's a shunting one. So this is the really difficult one. It's a shunting one. You have to sort it out using your own mind, not the devs telling you what to do. Oh, okay then, right. So there isn't the usual prompts for that one. Maybe Natalie will run that one tonight on the DTG stream. We should wind her up to do that, I think. Yeah, I don't know who that is, Dave. I'm not sure who that is. I called into British Ace's stream for 10-15 minutes. He was just doing the tutorials earlier today, but that's all I've seen of it so far. I wanted to get my first proper experience of it when I was on here with you guys. So operating eastbound train as far as Altoona. Excuse me. This is an intermodal train. So it's 2,653 tons. The length is 74. 1.1 miles. So it's another big one. So this is where I need to remember what I did earlier. Let's just have a quick look at the map. So we are at this end. I believe it was said in the stream that some of this is usable up this side. There are some sidings down that end. This is the branch I was telling you about. I think that's 12 miles. I think that's 12 miles, 44 miles end to end, and then 12 miles down this branch, I believe. So we're going all the way up here, up to the top. So let me get everything set up. Just looking what you've put, Dave. The ambassador with the big beard. Think he's an Aussie. I think that's Train Simulator Driver. Unless I'm very much mistaken. Let's have a look. Generator field on. Let's get all these set up ready. Engine runs on. Dynamic brake is on. Let's get the headlights to bright. We will get the reverser in. Step lights are on. Gauge lights on. Let's have all these on, why not? And what I need to do is obviously cut the brakes in first. It's quite fiddly on the controller, isn't it, sometimes to do this? So first of all, the brakes are cut out, so let's cut those in. We need to set this to lead, and of course we need to remember to save it, or it will completely ignore us. That's it. So that should be good to go. I don't think there's anything else we need to do. I'm going to check the banking com, because that will be the other thing that we need that on definitely if we're a mile long. Oh, put the banking on first before you set up. I think you're okay, Dave, if you're in neutral, as we are now. I think if you've already put it into forward, I think you're in trouble, as I understand it. Farah says, different paths, excellent. First thing I look for after trophies, enhances longevity. East Coast Way is a good example of that. Yeah, I agree with that. So the banking com is on now. Let us put some independent brake on, because we're going to release this. And I'm hoping I'm ready to go. Let's have a quick look outside. This is the ES44 AC. So it looks very nice in this livery. And let me look at the brakes, because we need to make sure these are released before we go. And with it being a mile long, it's going to take a while to do that. So now in the Sherman Hill one, I knew I was looking for the brakes. See, the rear is, so the rear is showing 3 little asterisks, it looks like, or 3 dots. So I don't know if that means it's released. I'm just going to try it and see. Let me take off the independent brake. See, the BC there on the hood shows we could be ready to go, but I'm rolling backwards. Let's just put it in notch 4. Okay, looks like we're good. Brakes need 60. I think it said that in the tutorial, you know, but then actually, I think it's these at the top, is it? The brake pressure, 89, 89, 89, I think it's those. Let me open the windows, because we want to listen to the sounds, of course, don't we? And we've got a 15 miles per hour coming up. So I don't know if you guys are watching this with a view to buying it, or you've already picked it up. Let me know. There's been quite a few American freight routes, hasn't there, just in the past few months? We had Cane Creek, of course, then we had Sherman Hill. So this is another one. This one looks a little bit more like Sandpatch, doesn't it? Whereas Sherman Hill and Cane Creek were very sort of barren scenery wise. So this one looks a lot better, a lot greener. And I should be checking the points in case. I think it's all signal controlled, but yeah, I think we're good. Let's take a look outside. So Dave, you said thinking about getting it, but don't know what to get rid of so that I can play it. Yeah, same problem for me. So in my case, Sherman Hill had to make way, unfortunately. Sherman Hill was about 6 gig. I think this one was about, I can't remember now, I think it was about 4.5 gig. But a lot of the other routes are a lot smaller than that. So I'm afraid Sherman Hill was the one that had to go, and it's a shame because I was getting into Sherman Hill. The only thing I can say is that Matt has obviously said that there's 2 engineers working on that 64 gig limit now, so you know, I'm really hoping that means that there's plenty of work going on and it'll be resolved soon, because it is a shame. I don't even know if there's any substitution on this route. I'm not sure. So if you've got the other freight routes installed, I don't know if there are any services for those or whether it's just these 2 locos. I think they may have said on the stream last week it was just these 2 locos, but I've no way of knowing just now. So it is frustrating. It is frustrating. So we've got 4.7 miles until our first go via. My first impression of this is that it looks really good on the PS5. I've no complaints so far scenery wise. Those distant trees look good on the hillside there. So we do have a 40 coming up, but when you've got a train that's a mile long, it will take us a while to be able to speed up to that 40, unfortunately. Let me see if I can flick to the back. So here's the rear. So it lets me flick to the rear, but that camera's static. I can't do anything with that camera. I can't move. Let me just try another camera view. I'm worried it's going to crash now. There's the flyby camera, of course. We do have some new wagons as well here, it looks like. In the Norfolk Southern Livery. So Dave, you mostly keep all the German and UK routes. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. I think my first aim is to keep the UK routes. That's the first thing I want to do. I mentioned it on another video I did, I think over the weekend. It was the Tees Valley video that I did over the weekend. I did have to lose a couple of the German ones, unfortunately. And because of that I lost the 155 and I lost the 182 because they're linked to it. And half the battle is if you at the moment, if you need to remove a route, if there's any local DLC associated with it, you have to try to remember which local DLCs you're going to lose as well. So yeah, it's a pain. It is a pain. But they're quite easy to remove and put back again, you know, but it's yeah, it's confusing. It is confusing. It's a bit of an inconvenience, but you know, I've got faith they're going to fix it with 2 people working on it full time. And it's definitely understood. It's definitely understood that it's a massive problem. Let me change camera again. So that's the rear again. Back to the front. Let's go back to the cab now. The cab's quite nice. It's very similar to the what's the one on Sandpatch now? AS 4400 is it on Sandpatch? very similar to that one. Right, we just got to the 40 zone, so I'm going to increase the power. Just going back to that DLC limit, I don't know what the size, because I don't know what the size comes in as at the moment if you've got the full set, but I know personally on the PS5 I'm running out of space on the PS5 and I've not got that much stuff installed, and I don't just mean TSW, I mean other games that I've got as well, because it's only a terabyte SSD in there. So I have actually bought an internal SSD for the PS5. I'm going to put that in at the weekend, so I've got another terabyte, which should sort me out. But you know, obviously the TSW install is going to get quite large as well, and I haven't got a view at the moment as to what size that is. So there's another long intermodal there just passing us. So let's just flip back to the map. The curve's up here, isn't it? There's the curve. So we've got a way to go to the curve yet. But what I wanted to do is just give you a look at the route itself, one end to another. Speeding slightly, very slightly. It's a little bit unforgiving, that speeding, isn't it? You don't have to be much above the red dot to get a speeding penalty. Yeah, it is Farah. Yeah, it's very nice. That's what I was saying. I think it's very similar, isn't it, to the look and feel of Sandpatch with a hint of Clinchfield. I would say. So this particular service is the longest service available, which is 1 hour 17. So it's obviously not as long as Sandpatch. You were saying over weekend, Dave, weren't you, that for Sandpatch you need to most of the time dedicate a couple of hours when you want to run something on Sandpatch. So this one's, you know, this gives you an option to run freight a little bit shorter. I do like the sound of this loco as well. It's got some grunt. Put a bit more throttle in. I did actually go back, Dave, to Sandpatch over the weekend. There was a trophy I wanted to get for I think it was for completing slippery descent. It's one of those scenarios. I went back and did that. I think that took me 2 hours. But I'd not been on Sandpatch for quite some time, so I quite enjoyed it actually. I can't give you the FPS because I haven't got a keyboard attached, so I can't flick it up. But just to my naked eye, in 4K on the TV, it looks pretty good. I'm not seeing any stutter, not so far. Timothy Diamond, how you doing? Thanks for jumping in. Glad to see we got a new horn for the GP38 and the AS44. It looks good. Yeah, it is. It is. There's the horn. Could be the stream, Dave. Yeah, I've got no stutters at all at this end. I haven't got a super fast connection. It's not bad, but it's not as good as it could be. So we're going down to 30 in about a mile, so we're pretty safe at the moment. Still 2.2 miles till we get to South Fork, which is our first go via. Yeah, let me know when a stutter comes along. The problem is, Dave, I think you might be about 5 seconds behind me. But I can watch it back afterwards and just check. There's certainly, I can tell you that there's nothing in the game that I'm looking at right now that's stuttering at all. So you don't need to worry about that. Some grass on the track there. It's a bit overgrown, doesn't it? Right, I'm just keeping my eye on that 30 though. We are going uphill slightly. Timothy, you mean is this local to, is this route local to Sandpatch, do you mean? Yeah, Dave, the weeding train. I can't. I mean, that could be a result of some moisture coming down this hill, I guess. I don't know. Oh, you mean Timothy? You mean can this loco be used on Sandpatch? I think is what you mean. Not sure. You mean in service mode? I'm not sure. You can of course put anything via scenario planner on any route, but I don't know if there are actually services, any substitution services on Sandpatch. I've not tried that yet. So I want to stay in the cab, but I do want to go outside as well to look at the scenery. Oh, Skyhook are pretty good at rocks, aren't they? Just had a stutter. Right. Maybe it's when I'm flying the camera around, Dave. Maybe it can't keep up. It's possibly that. There was no stutter on the game itself, though. Huff, how you doing? Is that how I pronounce it? Is it Huff or is it Hugh F? I was never sure. My PSN is the same as my YouTube name and forum name. Yeah, internet stutter. Alright, it could be, yeah. There's absolutely no stutter at this end. Even when this train just passed, there was no stutter. It's so far, it's, you know, visually it's performing very, very well. That's the problem with streaming, I think, isn't it? That yeah, I think it happens with DTG as well. Is that sometimes the ones that Matt are running, you know, can look terrible in some areas, but at his end, everything's running fine. So this is our first go via. This is the branch line. We've got a dam down there in the river. It's quite good. $15 is the next one. That's Galitzin. I hope I'm pronouncing that one right. Do you know, so far it's a very relaxing drive, and there's things to look at, I would say, because for me part of the experience is the main experience obviously is driving the train, but also when you're on a long run you want to be able to look at something, you want the scenery to be right, don't you? And this one so far is actually quite pleasing to the eye. I quite like it. So we've just hit a 35 limit. This is Norfolk. Oh, Fork. Wait, are those cars? Those cars are on the UK side of the road, are they? Yep. Don't worry, we are in America, folks. Dave says, why do DTG and other third parties make the routes look dead? Get bored so easy, nothing to look at. I don't know if they look dead. It's to do with it's probably mainly to do with performance, isn't it? I would say. You must get the balance right, I guess, between filling something up and it struggling to run on your console or PC or whatever you might be running on. I think Harlem, when Harlem came out, Harlem looked a bit quiet, didn't it? I think we would probably agree on that. You know, being the centre of New York. but I think with the update that's got better. So Hugh, if you can't find it, just put yours there in the chat. I'll look for yours. MCR Andy, how are you? I guess the MCR is Manchester, as you've got 0161 on the end of your username there. 100% to do with performance. Look at the difficulties they've had with rush hour. Yeah. So a London commuter, I think, still doesn't have rush hour passengers, if I remember correctly. And I don't know, but I would expect that's to do with performance. London commuter actually is starting to overtake Northern Transpennine as my favourite route in some ways. I think I've spent quite a lot of time on London commuter. When you say there's an update, Hugh, what do you mean? You mean today there's been another update? Or do you mean rush hour was updated? There were some updates yesterday, wasn't there? Yeah, the old 161 gave it away, Andy. Dave, when you say you're waiting for them to sort out Northern Transpennine, what do you mean? Is there something specific not working? It'd be great if we could add the Class 150 from West Cornwall into service mode without having to set up scenarios. That would be good. Well, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I want the Class 150 everywhere. Tees Valley, it'll go nicely on Tees Valley for me as well. Track rendering. I don't know if I've noticed that on Northern Transpennine. I know there was a few issues on Tees Valley line, wasn't there? Some people had said they didn't like Tees Valley track rendering after the last update. You've got updates today. Okay. I wonder if they were yesterday's updates that you just perhaps didn't pick up yesterday. Right, I'm in danger of speeding. We're on the flat right now. I will say that this for such a long train, this did actually accelerate quite well when we started off. I expected it to be very slow to start off, but it wasn't. It was all right. So yeah, this long train is passing us. There's no stutter at all. Certainly not on the PS5. I don't know what it'll be like on other platforms, but right now I'm not seeing anything. It's performing really, really nicely. Dave says the 31 Class 20 as well as the 150 should be on NTP. Yeah, well, yeah, the 31 I mentioned at the weekend in my other video for Tees Valley Line. The 31 actually is could be my favourite loco DLC. Obviously, the Class 50 is coming very close to that. I like the 150, but the 150 still got a couple of things not quite right with it, but it's still quite a nice one to run. But yeah, the 150 and the 31 are probably my favourite two, I would say. So we've got a 1% gradient, so I'm going to put some throttle in. Let's check where we are on the map. So we came past Norfolk, I should say. I'm getting mixed up now between Norfolk Southern and North Fork. Tongue twisters. You've got to be careful as well, of course, that you're saying that right, or else you might get struck off YouTube forever. But yeah, here we are. Probably just a bit less than halfway, I would say, looking at that. Dave, you're still seeing Class 20s around Leeds. Okay, that's interesting. I think the only time I've seen Class 20s is when I was at the East Lancs Railway. I think they've got a couple down there. I don't think I've seen them. I don't know. I'm not an avid rail fan. I was when I was a kid, but in my adult years I haven't been. So I don't recall whether I saw any when I was younger. I will have done. This is a lot different to the other freight routes. I can't put my finger on it, but it's a lot different. Very, very nice run. And we've not even got to the curve yet, which is the main attraction. So Farah, you struggle with the brakes on the 31, even find the 101 easier. Yeah. The 31 is tricky. A lot of people struggle with the 101. I wonder if it's because of the gears. Do you not find with the 101 that it's tricky to begin with, but then, you know, with the gears you get into a rhythm, and it's like a car. You can actually listen to the engine as to know when to change the gears. Then the brakes are a bit of a black art, I know, because you have to put a bit of brake in and lap it. But I actually do quite like the 101, and I definitely remember travelling on those as a kid. I was the kid that always sat behind the driver, so you could see where you were going. You could see him messing around with the controls. You'd get the occasional driver who was a bit, you know, a bit upset, and he would put his blinds down so you can't see into the cab, but not many did that. In fact, you know, I'd forgotten all about the 101s until they came into Train Sim World. I'd not seen one for such a long time. Yeah, you agree with me, Dave, like driving a car. It is. It is. Farah says, very nostalgic. Yeah, they are. And the 101 always had, it always had those under-seat heaters, didn't it? And it'd be in the middle of the summer and they couldn't turn them off, and it used to belt out loads of heat and you were sweating, and they gave off a musty, dusty smell, didn't they? It's funny what you remember. Dave's laughing now. Anyway, this loco is far removed from a 101. I will tell you that. But if you want my opinion, this route's really nice. I'm actually quite surprised. I can see myself running up and down this one quite a bit. So we got just under 6 miles to our next go value. Then we'll have a look at the map and see where we are. Now this is a yellow, so you know what? I hope it isn't going to stop me, because that will be a challenge for me. No, 2.1 miles to the next signal. Or maybe just take it easy. So Dave, you'll probably get it tomorrow. Got a week off to run it. Yo, your birthday next Monday. You'll be 69. Wow. Are you the oldest TSW2 player on DTG's books? I don't mean this in a funny way, right? But if you're going to be 69 and you're using a PS5, I think that's really good. That's you embracing the technology, Dave. So on Monday I expect to see you on Call of Duty, Battlefield. The thing about the console, Dave, as well, is that it's the simplicity, isn't it, of the console, and you don't have to worry too much about the tech side. Although I know what you mean. Sometimes the menus are a bit daunting, and setting the thing up to begin with and transferring over from the old console was a bit of a pain. You've asking me, am I 57 or from 1957? Neither and neither. I'm not that old. I might look it, but I'm not that old. 57 in the username is just a random number, to be honest. when I first set it up on the various platforms, there were lots of Tintins everywhere, but there wasn't an underscore 57, so that's literally just how that came about. Andy says, really like the routes done by Skyhook. Scenery is so good on their routes. Yeah, so what was the other? It was Cane Creek, wasn't it? Cane Creek was the other one. And apart from a few floating rocks and things like that, it was the scenery was quite good once you got down to that end with all the where the depot is at the other end. I don't see any evidence of anything floating around so far on this route. But yeah, this is definitely really nice. This must have took some time to put together, to be honest. There's a lot of detail. I know there's talk of auto-generated scenery. I'm not sure if that's in use on this one, but this is a good mix of everything, scenery-wise. I quite like it. And that's why really I wanted to jump on today, because like you guys, I watch the DTG streams, but I think I'm that, in those streams, I'm that busy listening to how the route came about and what it contains, and I don't really look at the route much. I see a little bit of it, and sometimes I watch them back afterwards. So being as I'm now on the Ambassador team, I thought I'm gonna jump on today, a release day, and then you guys can have a look from one end to another and just relax and just watch it and see what you think. I don't blame you, Dave, if you're going to retire. I don't think I'll be working at 69 if I can help it. If you retire, you'll be, level 8,000 in TSW2 within a couple of months. I bet you're already nearly there anyway, aren't you? And Hugh is 53. Playing TSW, yeah, that's really good. 50s is not old, is it? Not these days. It was when you were a kid and your mum and dad were in the 50s. You thought, go on, Bennett, am I ever going to be that old? You seem ancient, but when you get there, I guess you don't feel that old. Would be interesting actually, because this TSW2 is one of those games that has got a certain audience, hasn't it? I would be interested to know the sort of demographic, what genders is it most popular with, what age groups, that kind of thing. I am quite interested in that kind of thing. I did mention that to Sam, DTG protagonist, a while back on one of the streams. He said he was going to put together, or he was going to bring a lady in that deals with the stats to run a short sort of presentation on that, because I thought that would be interesting, but he must never have got round to it. I did remind him a couple of times. Dave says, should have put a passenger train on this route. Yeah, possibly. Well, oh yeah, because there is it Amtrak? Amtrak do something on this route. Oh wow, look at me speeding. Right, wait a minute. Get myself in all sorts of pain here. I'm going to put the automatic brake on because they use the dynamic brake on the stream, and people in the chat were telling that was wrong. We have got a 45 coming up, but I'll just slow down slowly. I don't want to slow down too much. Just wondering why. Is it this bend, perhaps? I was just wondering why I was slowing down so much. It's one of those things, isn't it? Until you learn the route, you don't really know to anticipate without looking at the hood. Just check I have no brakes on. I have no doubt whatsoever, Dave, that the Class 150 will be making an appearance on this route via the scenario planner. I can say that much. Level 260, Dave. You're still quite a way ahead of me. We've talked about this before, haven't we? I think the first time around on the PS4 with the original TSW, I was nearly 600, level 600 or something like that. I was in the late 500s, and then we had the PS4 version of TSW2, and I think I got to 400 and something. I think right now I'm about 180 on this PS5 version. So you're quite a way ahead of me. Farrah's 47 and he's a nipper. You see, I didn't have a Commodore 64. What was the first one I got? Was an Amstrad. Ooh, what was it called? 464. It had a green screen that came with it. It had a built-in tape deck next to the keyboard and it had a green screen with it. I want to say Amstrad 464 or C464. Can't remember. CPC 464, that was it, yeah. I was chuffed when I bought that. Thanks for that, Hugh. You like the videos. And now and then you're online on Twitch. Okay, I'll look out for you on Twitch. I don't use Twitch much, to be honest. I am registered at Twitch, but I prefer YouTube, which is why I'm always on YouTube. But I will have a look out for you. Certain people I do watch on YouTube. The DTG streams I tend to always watch on YouTube, not Twitch. Oh, so Dave says, on this route, if you get two yellows one after the other, you go down to 15 miles per hour. I've got you, so that would explain what happened just then. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, they said that on the stream, didn't they? Yeah, it's coming back to me now. Yeah, they did. They were showing the map, and they were showing there won't be a red light, and this, that, and the other. Yeah, that's the type of thing I need to recap on, just to re-familiarise myself with. That might get explained again tonight, I think, on the DTG stream. So I can speed up. We got a 30 coming up. So we're nearly at Galaxy, and then we'll have a look exactly on the map where we are. Just while we're doing this, don't forget, if you feel like you want to, leave me a like on the stream. That will definitely help me out. I'll be appreciative of that, definitely. Oh, you couldn't find me. I wonder if I've got my settings locked down or something. I don't know. I've not looked for ages. Maybe I've got it so people can't invite me. Not on purpose. But what's your Sparrow? Is it the same as your? Is it the same as your ID on YouTube? Because me and Dave are connected. I will look you guys up. Unscathed aphid. Right. I'll have to try and remember that. I'll write it down actually now while I remember. I'm not going to even ask you how you came up with that name. Aphids are those little insects, aren't they, that go on flowers? If I remember correctly. So we've got a single track section here, so that's interesting. So the next marker we've got actually is the curve itself, 3.7 miles. So that's good. Let's just have a quick check of the map. Yeah, so there's the curve. We've got a loop going around the back here, which I'm not sure what that is, but again, hopefully that's playable. Maybe it's to avoid, if there's somebody going that way, maybe it's to avoid us. They can go around the back, not sure. Need to look at that in more detail. As I say, this is the first time I've run this, so I'm not really that up to speed on anything with it. The other thing on this route that we don't have, which we've got on some of the other routes, is some of the other routes you're fighting the brakes, aren't you? One of the biggest skills is sticking with a dynamic brake, making sure you don't get a runaway train, especially sandpatch. And that's one of the tricks. On here, so far, we've got this 1.4 downhill gradient just now, and I don't know how much of the train is actually on the gradient yet, but it isn't trying to run away. So as I said a couple of times as we've been going along, this is a more leisurely freight route in my opinion. I'm gonna get the dynamic brake ready though, having said that. Oops, I'll leave it in setup. Let's see what the dynamic brake actually does. That's pretty effective. Dave says, oh, you put something on the Discord about the old Leeds Central. Right, I'll take a look at that later. It's interesting, that dynamic brake really did put the brakes on. So next I'll try the automatic brake, just see what difference there is. Dynamic brake's very effective though there. When I first ran the sand patch, I remember coming down from the summit. I didn't even know how to set up the dynamic brake. I didn't even know it was a thing. Do you know, it was only when Matt did his PowerPoint about the different braking that it actually clicked in with me. And once I went back and tested it from what he said, I actually found it quite a good experience, quite a challenging experience. Because on sandpatch you need that dynamic brake, but then there's certain points, aren't there, where you just need that little bit of automatic brake, and you can sometimes get away with it just being on the initial reduction. And that's just enough to slow you down and keep you pretty steady. The first time I did it, I don't even want to tell you what speed I was doing coming down the hill. It was ridiculous. I didn't derail though, but I'm not sure how I didn't. I'm just taking those brakes off now. The gradient's got a little bit less. Just looking out again at the scenery. You can actually see the back of the train there, look, coming around there. So yeah, you see on this I would use a dynamic brake, but people seem to think that you should be using the automatic brake. I don't know how you decide that, which is the right brake. I don't know American freight enough to be able to say. But we have passed, so far we've passed through some very nice areas and interesting scenery on the route. So I'm quite pleased with it, it's good. I think they've done a really good job on this one. Quick check on the map, certainly. So the curve is the target. If you want to look at the whole map, we started off there on the left, and then there is the branch, North Fork branch, going down to the bottom, the leg there, and we've come all the way along, and now we're not that far away from the actual curve itself. Too many pink wagons in this game, Dave says. Do you know what, Dave, actually? I've never seen these ones before, right, in real life. And I was actually driving down the motorway a few weeks back, and there was one of these on the back of a lorry, the exact same one. It made me chuckle, actually. So they are a legit thing. They do exist. I'll take a little bit of this brake off. I'm actually slowing down quite a lot there. So despite what I said, there is some challenge here on this point with the brakes. I think I will ask tonight again about which brake to use. I mean, any brake that you can use to get your speed down on a gradient like this is the right brake for you. But I'm always interested to know what a real driver on this route would use to get this brake down. I like to try and play it as authentic as possible. Let's try the dynamic brake again. Let's put it in setup. This dynamic brake as well has got individual notches. It's got, you know, it's not just 2, 3, 4. It's got very fine settings for dynamic brake. It does get the speed off quite quickly though. Look at that. It's took it down already. And I guess the dynamic brake is less wear and tear on the equipment, so that's the other thing to keep in mind. So we're nearly at the magic curve, which is what it's all about. And I will come out of the cab once we get there, so we can have a proper look at it. The other thing so far is we've seen quite a bit of traffic on this run as well, which is good. It's nice to see. And just in the distance I can see the end of that train. Remember in the old days you'd see the train building up in the distance. But certainly on this version it doesn't do that anymore. Probably the additional power in the console. So we're just approaching the curve. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Keep an eye on that speed. Don't want to be going too fast as we approach. So there is the curve up to that rock face and around. Welcome to Horseshoe Curve, everybody. It's great that the visitor centre and the little train that comes up the hill here is in. I don't think that works though, but it's nice that it's in. Where's the guys with the cameras? There they are. The back end of the train's still around the other side, as you can see there. Thanks Youth, thanks for stopping in. I will look you up on the PSN as well. Enjoy West Cornwall. Farah says trophies look very easy on this one. Actually, do you know what? I've not took a look at those yet. 10 services, 10 miles in each loco, etc. Yeah. The back of our train is still up there, look. Let me just come out of the cab again. You can see us snaking around. That's us. That's us. It's pretty impressive when you think about it, isn't it? Amazing. There's the back of the train now. You can just see the back of the train over there. Right, must keep my eye on that speed. We're still on 1.8 down gradient there. Yeah, it's just over a mile, 1.1 miles, I think, the length of the train. I think this is the second route now. Sherman Hill had trains that were a mile long as well. So we've come around that mountain there. Or hill. That hill will have a name. I need to look up what that is, but it will have a name. And we're now on our way down to Altoona, which is the end of the run. So I think this dynamic brake is really easy to use on this. It both goes on and comes off quite quickly. Again, it'll be just finding that sweet spot where you can maintain it without speeding up or slowing down. So what time did we leave? It was 10:54, wasn't it? And it was meant to be 1 hour 17 minutes. So we're not doing too badly. I've been over speeding slightly a couple of times, but then there's been other parts of the route where I've kept it well under the speed limit, just so we can have a good look, really. But it's been a great run so far. Yeah, I think you're right, Farrah. I think you're absolutely right. Yep. It's definitely understandable. And that's why I said at the beginning that I think this is why they've got two people onto it, is because they've probably seen it in the numbers recently. Actually going a bit too slow there. So you'll have to forgive me. This is the first run after all, so it's trial and error a little bit. Yeah, so you didn't pick up Sherman Hill, Dave, but I think, you know what, I quite enjoyed, I'm saying I quite enjoyed Sherman Hill because it's not on the PS5 anymore. It's not on my PS5 anymore. However, it's quite a good route, and it is different to this one. So they've been released fairly close together, haven't they, really? There's been a few months. Was it just before Christmas, Sherman Hill, I think? But they're not alike, if that makes sense. They're different experiences. I think I also, Farrah, I think I also bought Sherman Hill for 15, 16 quid. I think I paid for it. But then I know recently in March it was on sale again, and it was 11 or 12, something like that. But as far as the DLC limit goes, yeah, it was about 6 gig in size, so it's quite a big one. Right, I'm going to put some more brake in. Yeah, it's good, Dave. Well, you can see, and obviously you're on a PS5, so you'll be able to see, you know, from this exactly how it'll run at your end. Just trying to bleed this brake a little bit and try and find that sweet spot. So today, you know, we only did this full run. When we looked at the service list at the beginning, there was services for loading coal, etc. So, you know, there's a bit to do. There's a bit of variety at least. So it's not just this end-to-end run that you get to do. There are a few other things you can do. And see the train off in the distance there coming around that bend. I'll just bleed a bit more brake off this. Going a bit too slow. So you got stutter. So you seem to get a stutter when I go out of the cab and fly around a little bit. So it's probably my connection, Dave. I've still not seen any stutter at my end. 3.5 miles to Altoona. Yeah, it's probably my internet, Dave. Yeah, Farah, going back to the Class 31, for example, that I love that weathering effect on the Class 31. Some of the locals are quite shiny, aren't they? But the 31 has that dirty look about it, which is quite good. Some popping on the trees. Very slightly, very slightly. Okay, sound and voice at the same time. Yeah, it's the internet then. Yeah, it's my bad connection. Right, got a 25 coming up. Let me put some of this brake in. We're not going to make that 25, but so let me have a quick look at the map. I just want to make sure that after coming all this way, we are going to be signal controlled and I don't derail anywhere. We've got any points, the all automatic? Yeah, it looks as if it's guiding us right in. Take that brake off now. Oh, so it's your internet, Dave. You're blaming me and it's yours. So we're coming into Altoona now. And the gradient is also dropping off. It's starting to flatten out. We might just need some brake because the back of the train's still on the hill. So let's do that. Is this the passenger station here? Looks like it. Not far to go now at all, so I'm still leaving a bit of brake on because the back of the train's so long. want to double check again that it is taking us in. Yeah. Dave says, careful, it might crash. Xbox had a crash coming into Altoona. Oh, don't say that, Dave. Hi Patrick, how you doing? Thanks for jumping into the stream. You heard the Galitzin as bad scenery-wise. No, I didn't notice. Is that on a certain platform? This is PS5, so it looked the whole way down the routes looked pretty good to me. I haven't noticed anything actually that I would say was bad scenery. I've been quite surprised, actually, quite pleasantly surprised. It seems very well done to me. Just going to get the automatic brake ready to go. We've got this chap waiting to go the other way. So we've got under a mile to go. We've got a train that's quite heavy, that's a mile long. So I'm just trying to gauge the braking. I think we should be good. It's braked pretty well on the way down. So I'll just start taking a bit of the speed out and then we'll roll in. Hi Jessica, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Nice to see you. I'm doing pretty good. How's yourself? The new route's very nice. It is very nice, yeah. We've just done one run. Actually, we're coming to the end. We've just done one run end to end. This is Altoona, and it's been really good. It's been very pleasant. I think scenery wise it's well made. I think there's plenty of detail. This loco drives really nice. I do like this one. The livery looks good, and it's even weathered. You can see the dust on the side. Horseshoe Curve, we were waiting for Horseshoe Curve to come up. That came around. That was really nice. So yeah, I mean, I can recommend it. It's very good. Yeah, definitely, Jessica, yeah. So 600 yards till we stop at Altoona. $800 until the red. They did say on the official stream, didn't they, that they'd learnt from feedback and they'd placed the reds a bit further back than the actual stop marker, which on a train this long and this heavy is definitely appreciated. So I'm just rolling in at the moment. I haven't got any brake on, but I'm gonna put a bit of initial reduction on, I think. minimum reduction, I should call it. Speed's coming off just nicely. It's nice to see these yards as well now, with traffic, even if the traffic's just static. Just based on what you were saying earlier, Dave, you know, it looks good when they're filled. This would look terrible, wouldn't it, if it was empty? Just creeping along this last 100 yards. Easy does it. I'm quite happy with that one. And a trophy. The first of many, so I'm presuming that is for running one service. So, I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed that actually. It was a lot better than I expected it would be. It took us an hour and a half, and it was meant to take us an hour and 17. So, you know, we didn't do too badly. We had to get used to the brakes on the way down. So, you know, the more you get used to the brakes, the more you get used to the route, the brakes will come a bit more natural, and you'll know when the speed changes are coming up, you know, without always having to look at the hood. So, you know, it's just practice. But yeah, very, 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 very good. I can definitely recommend it. I think it's got a lot going for it. So, you know, thanks everybody for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always, and thanks for the likes on the stream. That always does help me out. And thanks, Farah. Yeah, enjoyed the video. Thank you. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, Dave. Hoof was in. Patrick was in. I'm trying to remember. Andy from Manchester was in. And if I've forgotten anybody, it's because it's been a long run and I had my concentration face on then when I was coming up to that red light because I was worried I was going to spad right at the end. But we didn't do that, so that's perfect. I'm going to go and get something to eat. The DTG stream, if you want to watch another one, they may show something different and be able to give a bit more technical knowledge about the route. That starts in just under an hour from now at 8 o'clock UK time. So if you're on there, I'll be in the chat. Come and say hello in there. And thanks again for watching. Catch you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.